Welcome to Talk Time Soccer on Speakstv. Today I'm going to be your host, Ibrahim, and hosting with me will be
Excel Francis. And today we'll be talking about the just concluded Soccer World Cup that was hosted by Brazil. So we had about 32 nations represented at the World Cup, with 5 of those nations coming from Africa. So there were a lot of very special players that everybody looked forward to watching the World Cup this year. We talk about the likes of Lionel Messi, talk about Neymar from Brazil, and talk about Ronaldo from Portugal. So how did these players perform? Were there new players that showed up in the scene that we are currently talking about? So we'll talk about all this and how all the different nations performed. Teams that we expected to make it far that didn't go very far. Stay tuned, and I believe you enjoyed the show. So, Francis, Germany and Argentina played in the final of this year's World Cup. Do you think that these were the two teams that played in this World Cup?
Oh yeah, Excel, definitely. I believe this were the best two teams to, put on the show at the World Cup. Messi representing his country. Germany came out with a solid team. And since day one, I saw, the group. I said Germany was going to win it. So Germany, Argentina was the best finals we could ask for. Brian, what did you think about the finals?
I think the final was a great game. Definitely saw a lot of opportunities from both sides, mainly from Argentina from the start of the game. I definitely thought Argentina might have won the game from what I saw during the game. From prior to the game, I was picking Germany, and they held out. They played as a team. They really spread out their plays and played while Argentina played the counter game. And it was a great final. Couldn't ask for anything more. What about you?
Yeah, I think it was a great final. One thing with me, like if two teams are playing and I don't really have a particular team to support, I like to go for the underdogs. But Argentina and Germany, there are really no underdogs there. So I was just hoping for a good game, and that was exactly what happened. So these were two teams that has been in the business for long. It was a very tactical game. Both teams approached the game with great respect for the other team. I think that was what happened. If any team have gotten an early goal in that game, that team could have easily won the game. So it was a good game. And then Messi was just being Messi. But in the final, he didn't really show up. What do you think?
I think he was under a lot of pressure, knowing that he's playing in a South America, in a continent where his country is also in that continent, and they're playing in a neighboring country in Brazil. And to win a World Cup in Brazil will put him, as some people would say, over Maradona in the legend category. But I still feel Germany played well to keep Messi confined to a space where they could control him. Not many teams could do that, but I think they did a good chance of. They did a great job of keeping Messi.
Okay, Francis, what do you think? I mean, he played well in the group stages, but in the final, I feel like he did some magic, but it wasn't really the Messi that we expected. Do you think he deserves the golden ball that he got as the best player in the tournament?
Oh, definitely not. Messi showed up, during the whole tournament. Pretty much put Argentina on his back, But the golden ball, no, there was a lot of players that should have won that award. I definitely didn't think Messi deserved that award. And the likes of James Rodriguez, Thomas Muller, and even a few players from Iron Robin could have easily won that, but I didn't think Messi deserved that. Ibrahim, what did you think about, the golden ball going to Messi?
I definitely agree. It just, Messi was kind of a favorite going into the World Cup. everyone was looking upon him to see what he'll produce, knowing that the World Cup is so close to his home. But I definitely agree with. I don't think he deserved it. But yeah, there's nothing. It's nothing much. It's a debatable topic.
Yeah, I'll beg to differ on you people's opinion. You guys mentioned great names. Arjen Robben, definitely he was the best player in his position in the tournament. Thomas Muller, he did a great job, even scored a hat-trick against Portugal. But I think I will still be okay with Messi receiving the golden ball. He was spectacular. He performs miracle with his feet. He kind of thinks ahead before he even gets the ball. He knows what to do with it. So he was always being marked. Look at the game against Iran. There was always two people with him whenever he gets the ball. So he has to get rid of the ball. And still he found a way to score at the last minute. And he scores spectacular goals. His strikes are just wonderful. He scored that wonderful goal against Nigeria too. So I think he deserves the golden ball, but did he give the best performance during the World Cup? Maybe not. There were several other players that could have easily received the award, which would have still been deserving. I think he deserves it, but he might not have been the only player that really did well during the World Cup. But I think he deserves it. The two teams that played in the final are Germany versus Argentina. How do you see that game? Do you believe that these were the two teams that were the best in the tournament?
Yes, I definitely thought that was the best two teams in the finals. Both teams put on a great show, and that was what the finals everybody was looking forward to, which made the World Cup even more exciting. And like you said, they had a bigger number, so. Yeah, I thought those were the two biggest teams to play on the finals of the World Cup. Brian, what did you think?
I think they were very good teams. They had a journey to get to the final. Like Argentina playing Netherlands, who was in the final in the previous World Cup in the semifinals, which they ended up winning it penalties at the end of regulation time. I think that definitely gave them an advantage because they got to play a great opponent before to the final. I think Germany might have got a little outsided by playing Brazil in the performance that they had against Germany. But looking at the way Argentina played Germany in the final, they definitely did great. That game could have really went either way. What about you?
Yeah, looking at the statistics here, Germany had about 5 shots on target. Argentina had 0. They had about shots off target about 9 for Argentina, 3 for Germany. And if you look at the possession, they have 59% possession by Germany and about 41% for Argentina. It was definitely a very tactical game. Both teams. We are looking at, you wouldn't really consider any of the teams an underdog. Argentina had Messi, who can be the difference in the game any day. So it was a very good game, very tactical game. Both coaches did a really good job. I mean, there was no scores until deep into the extra time during the game. So it was definitely a very good game. Nothing you compare to the 7-1 demolition of Brazil in the semi-final. So let's talk about that. What really happened to Brazil? I mean, they were the home team. They didn't have Neymar, but what really happened? Not having Neymar in the field, does that make them deserve being outscored by 7-1?
I think not having Thiago Silva was also a big loss for Brazil, but looking at the Brazilian squad from the start of the World Cup, they weren't as strong as the non-Brazilian, the soccer like Central in Brazil. I think they fell off a little bit, but knowing Brazil, they always find a way to rebuild from any deficit. So I think they're definitely going to rebuild from this loss. It was definitely shocking. I didn't expect to see Brazil go down like that, especially knowing that they're playing at home and they haven't lost to a competitive game in their home for quite some time now. What about you, Francis? What do you see?
I just look. I was watching the game and I just was thinking to myself, like, what is going on with Brazil? Of course, definitely you can see, they were missing their two key opponent, which was Neymar and Thiago Silva. Those were the two leaders on the field actually. So once the ball comes from the defense, they look to Neymar, and Neymar wasn't there. So they were pretty much, confused, and Germany just took advantage of that and just did whatever they wanted to do with Brazil, which was just a shame to just watch for a whole 90 minutes. Brazil was just didn't know what to do. So I just think Germany came and just handled their business and left. So
yeah. For me, I would say that I was really surprised by the outcome. If your best player gets taken out of the World Cup due to an injury, I feel that I expected Brazilian players to come out with more heart to play for Neymar. That was the team, play for Neymar. That was what the whole country was going for. But for them to come out so flat, it was as if that they didn't really play to their best. Even when they considering early goals didn't really help them. I think Germany scored like 3 or 4 goals within 10 or 15 minutes. So that was very demoralizing. And then they kept letting them score more goals. It got to a stage that I was like, can they just start playing defensive or something? That could help. But for them to concede 7 goals. And I don't know if I should put the blame on the coach. But I think the coach could have done a good job of talking to the players to see what they were doing. They lacked cohesion in the defense. Maybe not having Silva in the backline affected them really. And another thing is that Brazil really played well in that game. They just couldn't get their shots to fall in. They tried. They had look at the shots at goal. Brazil had about 8 shots at goal to Germany's 10. So 10 shots at goal and 7, they scored in 7. So their keeper that saved them in the round before the semi-finals where they got through penalties, it was as if there was just something missing in the game. Ball position wise, it was 48% Brazil to 52% Germany. So it wasn't as if Germany overpowered them, overshadowed them. It's just that Germany was scoring the goals and Brazil just weren't in the game. Something was missing for Brazil.
Definitely.
Okay, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about the African teams at the World Cup. Welcome back. We'll continue our discussion on the just concluded World Cup. So in our next session, we'll like to talk about the African teams. We had about 5 African teams in the World Cup. So what do you think about the performance of the African teams in the World Cup?
Well, to me, I think that African teams really came out, to show what they can do. But, things went wrong for some of the teams, such as, money and, struggles with the African teams, which always seems to happen every time, But,
let's not talk about the money part. Let's stick to what they did in the field. What do you think about their performance? We all know about the politics in the African nations, but let's stick to soccer.
I definitely think, that some of the teams came out to play, the likes of Algeria, Nigeria, which advanced from the group stage, they played good. Ghana really struggled, with, conceding the early goal to US. And Ivory Coast was unlucky. So I just feel African team, we always show up. And I just think this World Cup just wasn't our year to really advance. Brian, what do you think about the African team?
I think the African teams did okay. They didn't live up to the expectation that we're giving them. Especially, we wanted more from Ghana, but it was tough because of the group that they were placed in, knowing that they're playing against Germany, Portugal, and the United States. And Nigeria, they were able to advance as well as Algeria, so we could always look for that as a pros, knowing that although both teams lost in the first round, it was just something that we need to build on, and hopefully we could see a better performance in the next World Cup. What about you?
Yeah, I think the African teams definitely did well. I won't really say, yes, Ghana didn't make it out of the group. They were in the group of death, having Portugal, Germany, and the US in their group. Guessing by the way they played, one would have easily expected them to make it out of their group. They played really well against Germany. They almost beat Germany, who ended up being the champions. They, like you said earlier, they considered that early goal against US, and they were just playing from behind, trying to get back in that game. So I think the African teams really did well. Cote d'Ivoire will probably be my biggest disappointment from the African teams. They had players that play in the top leagues in the world. You have Drogba, you have Yaya Traore, the Traore brothers, you have several other players. This will be like their golden generation, and they've never made it out of the group stage. So that's not really good for the Cote d'Ivoire team. They ended up losing to Greece in that last minute penalty, which was questionable anyway, but that took them out of. They shouldn't have put themselves in that place. They played better than Greece. They should have beaten Greece, but that's what happened. So which other team do you think in the World Cup was didn't perform up to expectation, among the 32 teams that came to the World Cup?
Definitely, I would say Cameroon. Cameroon came and never showed up to any of the games. Just poor performance from Cameroon. Elbowing players on the field, they just seemed disoriented, and I think they put up the poorest performance among the African teams to me. Yeah.
How about the whole European teams, American teams, all the teams that came to the World Cup?
Also, I would say England. England performed very poorly. Couldn't even advance again from the group stage. And I just think with all the players that they have, they should have, at least come out of the group and did something, which they never did.
They definitely, with the English Premier League, they have the best league in the world. I mean, greatest followership. They have a lot of players. They just seem to be perennial underachievers. I mean, what do you think? Which team performed the least based on your judgment in the world?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Francis and going with England. I definitely think they have the players to do better than what they showed in the World Cup. Knowing that they have star players, as you said, in one of the best leagues in the world, they shouldn't be putting up a performance like that consecutively, because they didn't do as well in the last World Cup. So you would think that they'll build off, like France did better than them, knowing that France didn't do as well in the last World Cup, but they did better this time, and hopefully they'll do better next time. And hopefully England can follow their lead.
Yeah. For me, there's definitely a number of countries that didn't perform so well. Top of my list would probably be defending champion Spain. I mean, Spain did so well. They did so well in South Africa, and they came to this World Cup and they couldn't make it out of the group stage. So that was a big shocker for me. And then definitely England. And then talking about the African teams, yeah, I think you are also right with Cameroon not even showing up at all or not getting even a draw in any of their games. So, yeah. Okay, let's talk about the players, the countries or the nations that really surprised you. Like people that performed above expectations. I mean, one team that will probably come to mind will be Colombia. What do you think? Yeah.
I think James Rodriguez really performed in this World Cup. Nobody expected it, and he kept the performance up. He was continuously with the leading the team throughout the game that they lost against Brazil. It was a tough loss, but I think he definitely gained a lot of experience, and he's a young player, and we look to see what he could produce in Real Madrid in this new club, and hopefully next World Cup he produces as well. What about you, Francis?
Definitely, I agree with you. James Rodriguez was one of the outstanding players from Colombia, scoring 5 goals, winning the Golden, Boot.
That's 6 goals actually.
He did great. Yeah, he just was performing like he was on different planet. At his age, he was just just doing everything that you wouldn't think he would put up. Nobody was pretty even much looking at him or even looking at Colombia as a team. So James Rodriguez really stood out for me big time. What about you?
Yeah, I think the top teams for me, teams that performed above expectations, I'll probably definitely Colombia is one of the teams. Another team will probably be Chile. Nobody really expected them to win that group. They came from behind and won a group that had Italy and England. They practically sent Italy and England home by beating both teams. Okay, they drew with England and they beat Italy and Uruguay. So it was a really great outcome for Chile and also Costa Rica. Costa Rica, they did well. They only lost to Netherlands through penalties. They played one man down against Greece for more than a half of for more than 30 minutes, and they still went ahead to win that round to go to the quarterfinals. So those three teams definitely did really well. So great performance by those teams. I look forward to probably seeing an African team just come up just the way Ghana did in South Africa, to come up and do a good job of getting to that semi-finals phase that is still elusive to the African nations. So hopefully we'll get that in Russia in 2018. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll look at all the goals that we have scored during the World Cup. Which was your best, and you could also vote on that. Which was the best goal of the tournament? So we'll continue our discussion on the last World Cup. So next we're going to talk about what you consider your best goal of the tournament. So we'll start with Francis.
I would think one of the best goals of the tournament was Van Persie's goal against
the header against
against
Spain.
Yes, okay. The header was just fantastic. Just the concentration from just looking at the ball and just diving in, knowing where the keeper was, to even head it over the keeper.
So I think that was an excellent goal. I think that. How about you, Ibrahim?
I'll give it to the U.S. defender, Jones. The goal scored against Ghana, the second goal to put U.S. advance, because I think that's what really helped U.S. go over the group stage. That win over Ghana definitely gave them the confidence they needed to go against the next opponent, which was Portugal. Yeah, so definitely the magnitude of the goal was why I'm putting it over most of the goals in the tournament. Okay. What about you?
So if talking about, there are quite a number of spectacular goals at the tournament. I definitely will have to count the goal by James Rodriguez against Uruguay. Yeah. So it took a lot of concentration to control the ball and make that kick. It was a great goal. Then another great goal will probably be the one by Messi. Messi's strike. Messi's 90th minute winner against Iran. That was a great goal too. And another great goal was the free kick by David Luiz against Colombia. That was also a very, very good goal. So which one will I choose? I'll probably choose the goal by James Rodriguez. Yeah, that was a good goal. Yeah. So fans, among these three goals, which one do you consider, among some of these goals that we've mentioned, which one do you consider to be the best goal? So you go ahead and vote on the poll that will be showing to you on the screen, and we will give you what the results are during our next episode. When it comes to talking about legends in the sports, we could easily, there was a time that we were comparing LeBron James with Michael Jordan. A lot of people were saying he does not have any ring yet, so you can't really compare him to Michael Jordan that has many rings. So same discussion is currently going on, if you look at the internet, between Diego Maradona and Lionel Messi. Yes, Lionel Messi is a star, but is he a legend? Can you compare him to Diego Maradona at this stage of his career? Do you think he has achieved enough to be at par as a legend as Diego Maradona?
Yes, I definitely look at Messi and see him as a legend, because if you look at the impact he has on a team, it's definitely great enough for him to be considered as a legend and be considered in the same conversation with Maradona. Though he was short of winning the World Cup for Argentina, I don't think that should take him out of the conversation with Maradona, because if you look at the impact of Messi on Argentina and Messi in Barcelona, it's definitely great enough for you to put him above most of the players that he's playing around and his opponents, as well as the players he's playing against, is definitely greater. And soccer has developed from when Maradona was playing to now that Messi's playing. The players around him have developed. There's better players, there's better defenders. More people know the game. The game is spread out throughout the world. So it's definitely it's harder to win a World Cup now than it was for Maradona, I would say.
What do you think, Francis?
I definitely think Ibrahim was right on that. If you look at Messi's profile, you can tell that he has won everything that there is to win except for the World Cup. So we can't let the not winning the World Cup define him. Messi is just an exceptional player. He will go down as one of the best players, as a legend of this game of our ages. Yes, he hasn't won the World Cup, but that we shouldn't let that, prevent him from being a legend, or, preventing him from, being compared to Maradona. This World Cup, he had a chip on his shoulder because he was in the shadows of Maradona. If he didn't perform this World Cup, then we can be like, okay, he's not there yet. But he showed us that he can do it. He was just short of, with Germany, which had the better team at the end of the day. So to me, Messi is a legend and has more years to come to win more World Cups.
I think that's the point. Yeah, he has more opportunities. He's definitely going to be in the next World Cup in Russia in 2018. So he'll have his opportunity to get to where Diego Maradona is already. I don't think I'll put him at par at this point with Diego Maradona. He will have his opportunities to catch up. But he's definitely a great player. He's a world-class star. He has won the World Best Player of the Year a number of times. So I think he will get there, but he's not there yet. So great. Yeah, Lionel Messi, he's a great player. He's a world-class player. He's going to have opportunities to catch up with Diego Maradona. That's what I feel. That's what I think at this point. So what do you think, fans? What do you think? So give us your feedback. Do you think Lionel Messi, he could be at par as a legend with Diego Maradona, with what Diego Maradona did in his days? So what do you think? Give us your feedback. We'd like to hear from you. Next, we'll try to discuss on what is happening on the international stage in soccer. So we've seen a lot of transfers since the World Cup ended. So definitely these managers have seen the best from these players, and you see players going to new clubs. So what do you think what have you seen in the transfer market that kind of speaks to what is going to happen when the season begins?
Oh man, Excel, I've seen a lot of things going on in this transfer market, which excites me to, get ready for the season that's coming up. Different players moving from different places. The likes of the Diego Costa, Luis Suarez, Cesc Fabregas going to, Chelsea. And a lot of players, Arsenal are making a lot of, transfers. The likes of Liverpool are making a lot of transfers too. So I think there's been a lot of, players moving around, and which will make the league really excited this, season. So I'm looking forward to that. Brian, what do you see in the transfer market that really excites you?
Well, it's a Man U fan, Manchester United. We don't have much to be excited for. We've been fairly quiet for this transfer season. I know we tried to get Di Maria. That didn't fall through, but I think for other teams, we're not focusing on getting players. We're trying to rebuild within our team right now because we didn't have the best season last season. So we're trying to fix the problem within and not bring players until we fix our problem. So yeah, definitely. What about you?
Yeah, I think one thing One thing that has really happened for Man U is getting Louis van Gaal. I mean, look at what Netherlands did at the World Cup this year. I think I will attribute a lot of their success to also what their coach did with the players he had. And if Man U is getting Louis van Gaal as their coach, I expect him to do something magical with the players. I mean, Man U always have great players. They just need that manager that could bring out the best in them. So let's hope. I'm an Arsenal fan. I don't know if I should be saying this, but let's hope he does some magic and brings Man U back to his glory. I think Man U should be among the top 4 teams in the Premier League, but it didn't happen last year. So hopefully that will happen this year. But looking at the transfer market, definitely Diego Costa coming to Chelsea, Cesc Fabregas coming to Chelsea. That's 2 key transfers that is probably going to help a team that came third in the Premiership last year even perform better this year. But I really love the moves that Arsenal is making. Bringing in Alexis from Barcelona. That's a great move. Definitely need a good striker. And then I hope they're able to get Kadira to pair up with Ozil in the midfield. So we'll see. I think Arsenal is going to have a good team this season. They also have the right back that they have already signed, a new player that they've already signed. So I think it's going to be a good season, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, I think we would like to get final thoughts from you, Francis.
I just think, my final thoughts is this season is going to really be an exciting season to watch. New players wearing different jerseys and, new coaches at different, teams. And hopefully, I know Chelsea is going to come up on top. So, Ibrahim, what do you think about, final thoughts?
Well, my final thoughts would be coming from Poland after a great World Cup, going to see how the players perform, especially the new prospects like James Rodriguez, seeing how well he does with the Madrid Stars, and seeing other players in a new clubs, see how they perform together. So I definitely can't wait to see the start of the season, and hope you guys enjoy our show today.
Thank you, Francis and Ibrahim. It's been great co-hosting this event today with you guys. Definitely, for me, it was a very good World Cup. I think Brazil did a good work on the venues, and then just same thing that happens in every World Cup. New players are discovered. So this World Cup definitely brought out the likes of James Rodriguez and showed us what good players like Lionel Messi, Thomas Muller, Ronaldo could do in the pitch. And I look forward to the next World Cup, which African teams will present Africa, and I also look forward to these players how they are going to perform for their different leagues. Definitely can't wait for each league to begin once again, so we continue to enjoy the game that we've come to love so much. Please like us on Facebook. You can go to Facebook/Speakstv. And also to leave any comment for us, please use hashtag TalkTimeSoccer on Speakstv channel 15.2. You can also use hashtag Speakstv and we'll get your comment. So thank you very much. Until next week, keep watching Speakstv.